King Baldwin IV, the true story of Jerusalem's 16-year-old leper king. King Baldwin IV, who gained popularity from the 2005 film Kingdom of Heaven, was a legendary person. He was nevertheless able to unite his country and defeat the Muslim invaders led by the legendary general Saladin. This is the tale of Jerusalem's King Baldwin IV, sometimes known as the Leper King. Background in the First Crusade. Over the ages, a variety of nations have ruled over the areas in and surrounding what is now Israel, Levant. However, the Levant was composed of a few sovereign nations known as the Latin groups during the Middle Ages. After the First Crusade, these states were known as Crusader states. Pope Urban II called for a holy crusade to drive out Muslims from the holy city, Jerusalem, which represented the start of the First Crusade. The Byzantine Emperor Alexios I Komnenos requested Christians help in regaining the territories he had lost to the Seljuk Turks, which started the cry for a crusade. In order to fight the Muslims, troops were gathered throughout Europe, and they were successful in freeing the Levant. The majority of Europeans proudly returned home after this, but others decided to stay. The people who remained established the Kingdom of Antioch, the County of Edessa, the County of Tripoli, and the Kingdom of Jerusalem, which were the four Crusader states. Baldwin's early life. 60 years after the establishment of the Latin states, Baldwin IV was born in 1161. He was the son of Amalric, the Count of Ascalon and Jaffa, two of the largest cities in the Latin states. Sibylla was Amalric's daughter as well. In 1163, not long after Baldwin was born, Amalric ascended to the throne of Jerusalem. Baldwin was sent to William of Tyre by his father when he was 9 years old. William was an educated man and tutored Baldwin as the Archbishop of Tyre. He began to lose sensation in his right arm while he was with William. Baldwin had leprosy, and when King Amalric discovered of it, he made every effort to keep it a secret. For the most part of history, leprosy was severely stigmatized because its exact causes were unknown to the public. Baldwin becomes king. Baldwin became king in spite of these obstacles and the verdict. While on a military missions against Egypt, his father, King Amalric, passed away from dysentery. After Egypt refused to pay tribute, King Amalric attempted to subdue the country in an effort to weaken the growing influence of the Muslim kingdoms. But because he had failed to take Egypt, the Muslim world now saw a chance to revenge the Kingdom of Jerusalem. Raymond III, the Count of Tripoli, was appointed as Baldwin's regent. Baldwin immediately showed himself to be a capable leader after he reached adulthood in 1176. He realized that he wouldn't have any children to take over for him when he passed away due to his condition. Thus, he set up his sister Sibylla's marriage to William of Montferrat, a member of a well-known Italian family. Regretfully, Sibylla lost her husband quickly after they were married. But she was carrying his child, and she eventually gave birth to a son. Saladin, the Sultan of Egypt, was occupied at this time with invading and attempting his way across the Muslim world. He aimed to bring all Muslim lands together. So he launched a war. Thus, Saladin attacked the important city of Ascalon in 1177, a year after Baldwin ascended to the throne. Baldwin got caught in the city while rushing to defend it. Still, he succeeded in breaking out. He launched an attack on Saladin's army, ultimately overcoming them at Montbazard. He was only 16 years old, and his health was failing, but he led his army bravely from the front, all the while using just one hand to wield his sword and riding his horse. He was ultimately successful in negotiating a 2-year agreement with Saladin in 1180 because of his determination. Baldwin's health continued to worsen during this period of peace. Aware of his upcoming death, he arranged his sister Sibylla's marriage to the imaginatively called Guy de Lusignan. Once more, the Muslims invade, and Baldwin's health weakens. In 1183, not long after the 2-year agreement came to an end, Saladin took Aleppo. The Kingdom of Jerusalem was safely surrounded after Aleppo was taken. His vision of uniting the Muslim lands of the Middle East was gradually coming to pass. Baldwin had been severely weakened by his leprosy when Saladin finally returned to invade the Kingdom of Jerusalem. Despite needing to be carried in a litter, he made every effort to protect his kingdom. However, as his leprosy worsened, he appointed Guy, the spouse of his sister, as regent. Sibylla's husband's weak leadership and his poor health encouraged Baldwin to declare Sibylla's son Baldwin IV king and name Raymond III as his regent. Baldwin also made an effort to use the church to restrict Guy's power. But Baldwin IV passed away in 1185 at the age of 24. What happened after the death of Jerusalem's King Baldwin IV? At age 8, his nephew Baldwin V succeeded to the throne. Baldwin V passed away a year after ascending to the throne, but Raymond III, as regent, was able to secure a 4-year peace with Saladin. Saladin saw his chance to bring the Muslim world together in the end. Baldwin wasn't present to stop him when he invaded the Kingdom of Jerusalem once more. As an independent commander, Saladin was capable. Thus, at the Battle of N, Saladin overcame Sibylla's husband and his army in an attempt to stop him. Sibylla's husband was taken prisoner, but he was set free after handing over Ascalon to Saladin, the city that Baldwin had bravely guarded years earlier. Saladin captured Jerusalem itself later in 1187. Initially, his goal was to slaughter every Christian in the city as payback for the Muslims being slaughtered by the Crusaders when they captured it in 1099. But he allowed the Christians to take refuge in Acre. But when Jerusalem was taken by the rest of the Christian world, the Pope summoned yet another crusade to free it. 3 notable European kings faced off against Saladin during the Third Crusade. Richard I, the Englishman, Philip II of France, and Frederick I, the German emperor and German king known as Barbarossa.